Okay, thank you for watching Eating Pattern. Okay, on this is myself, Paul Donovan. I'm the producer and co-writer. Jeff, Lexx, co-writers. Okay, we're going to talk to you. Bring the camera back here. I'm going to talk to you first about, I'll first of all describe it. We're going to talk about the show. We're going to tell you about the actors. We're going to tell you about how we brought Brian Downey as Stan, Eva Haberman as Zev, and Michael McManus as Kai into the whole fold. But first of all, I'll tell you about Rainer Matsutani. He's the director. He's half German, half Japanese. I think he's the only one.
Probably not too many Axis directors left these days, but he's at the top of the list. If he had a little Italian blood in him, but
there you go.
He likes Italian food, so I guess all the
pretty
bases
much
are
the same
covered.
thing. Yeah.
Okay, so he's
Generally soft-spoken, but a temper that would flash up every once in a while, you know, and there'd be a bit of Achtung, you know. I'm on the set, and that was.
Ruhe bitte, Ruhe bitte.
Yeah.
That means quiet, please. Ruhe bitte.
Ruhe bitte, Ruhe bitte. You know, and it's when that's the great thing about a German director. They can bark out commands, boy. Like
really,
but
truly.
we're not, you know, obviously, but some of our very best friends are German.
And this is a Canadian-German co-production.
Well, exactly.
Hands
we
Hands
shot
across
it
the
over.
ocean. Hands across the ocean.
Absolutely.
That's important.
Was he in the episode?
Oh yeah,
Reiner, yeah, is in episode 2, Supernova, which you may or may not have seen, but
You should have seen Run Out and Rent.
there's a segment of a memory where he's wearing a Brunengee wig like Kai does, and he's
awarding a medal.
Awarding a medal, yes, to you, Kratos.
He's probably been revoiced. Sorry,
It's,
Reiner, we love you. You're cute as a button.
It's a great performance.
Yeah,
You can
terrific.
tell why he stays behind
Okay,
the camera.
enough on Reiner. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell you about Brian Downey as Stan. See, if you saw the original promo, which is at the end of picture 1 in the filler material, there's Brian Downey. And I had worked with Brian Downey in a number of films. He's from this place called Newfoundland. Newfoundland is this very poor, windswept rock sitting off the east coast of Canada.
Harp seal clubbing capital of the world.
Harp seal clubbing.
Very inbred, too, I think.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, and they're a little bit sexually licentious, but in Newfoundland, they are wonderful people. That's the one thing they got going for them. And they have an odd number of fairly good actors. And there's no explaining that in good musicians. There's some kind of thing, and maybe it has to do with being on an island. But so
Close families.
Brian was sort of living the life of a poor actor in Newfoundland, and also going to British Columbia from time to time when he actually wanted to live like an actor who got paid, as opposed to community theater in the rain. And I just knew he was a guy with talent. But in Canada or in the US, no one ever discovered him because he didn't live in Los Angeles. And so we kind of thought that he had to be the perfect Stan. So he became the Stan of our show. But what we didn't realize is that he is Stan.
Ah, jeez! Man. Dandruff's bad here.
What's that on your shoulder?
Dandruff. Dandruff, too.
What was that on your shoulder?
What was it on my shoulder? And your name is? This is it's a feeding tube for a very large baby. And this would be the nipple. And this is where the pablum comes out. And no, wait now. Vacuum cleaner. It's a vacuum cleaner. What could it be? It could be almost anything. But in fact, it's a feeding tube in the galley of the Lexx, the most powerful destructive force Salter Street ever created.
What's the name?
Salter Street is gonna rip the world apart, man. And if my character is Stanley H. Tweedle, don't mess with me. I will betray you. It's a difficult character in some ways to describe because the composite is, it's sort of like, you ever walk on a beach? And you know, like you come to this part where like there's all kinds of old shells and rocks and a couple of tires and you know, things like that, seaweed. You know, that's sort of what Stanley Tweedle's character is like. It's a difficult composite. It's sort of, I don't know, Charlie Chaplin, but not quite as clownish, like Benedict Arnold, but not quite as traitorous. Stanley Tweedle is one of the drivers of the plot. The plot's a beautiful car. It's a German-made car. He drives the plot in part simply because he just wants to escape turmoil, and he really wants to get laid. This guy is in serious need of a good ballin'. He hasn't had any in 8 years, and then he had to buy it. And he came too soon, so the cluster is... I know, and I need you... Oh, you mean for something... Oh, okay.
Hold it. You got my mic. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
right.
jeez. Because you're on camera.
No, he's great.
Yeah, he's a terrific guy.
He is Stan Tweedle.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, if this show ever goes tits up, he'll get a job as a security guard probably.
So Stanley Tweedle is Charlie Chaplin lost in space. In spite of him doing all the wrong things for all the wrong reasons, somehow in the end, you know, he's absolved. It's a really interesting character because it has, as like a lot of stuff, and not that I'm comparing, you know, this directly in any way, shape, or form to Charlie Chaplin or what he did. There's something of the element of every man. I mean, every man has, you know, some hero, some coward. And this character has elements of that, plus desperate need to escape all the time.
7-1 guide.
Michael McManus.
Well, you should really, because you know him from like.
I
way back.
don't like to talk about that though. Mike McManus is a, well, he was sort of a, he's one of these artistes, right? That's why we don't. One of the reasons why Kai is not a man of many words, because if you let Michael go on for any length of time,
Which you'll see some of him talking coming up.
exactly.
in
I
this
mean,
piece.
it's this stream of artistically pretentious gobbledygook that really doesn't make any sense at all.
This, to me, this stuff is, it's a kind of, it's in the realm of the lyrical satire. I think it's got a really, there's some beautiful things like people flying semi-organic planes, like insects and dragonflies, and the Lexx is like an overblown dragonfly. And my character comes from a very romantic culture that's still lingering somewhere there in the background of the civilization. And then the idea of the satire, the parody is that each visit to every planet, ultimately, when we start visiting planets and things, human characteristics are kind of sent out and made fun of, like in Gulliver's Travels or something like that. So it takes place in space and it takes place in the future, but I think it's attacking things that we're familiar with. Dead, yeah, I'm dead. Dead, and in fact, I'm dead alive, and there's one whole movie, one of these movies, where one of the big issues is whether I'm dead, or dead alive. I'm in my cryogenic tank. They try and wake me up. I don't wake up, and so they decide I'm dead. So they bury me, and they have a little service on the planet Clagia. And it turns out that I'm not dead, and the spew from some parasites on the planet, they're spewing on me, and it heats me up, and I get to wake up and come back and save the day just in time. Or sort of save the day. My character never quite saves the day. He sort of draws all the fire onto himself, and he gets chopped up into bits, and his limbs get cut off. And then Stanley Tweedle, the sort of anti-hero of the piece, he just pushes some button and vanquishes the enemy, just like that. But I draw the heavy fire to sort of shock troops. But I think the fantastic quality of the setting and the piece and everything comes from people's childhood, children who never quite grow up, and I think that sounds actually, but I sound like an asshole when I say that, but I mean it.
But he's earnest about it, and he's got a good heart too, and now finally he's got some money because he was always hitting on me in Toronto.
But I knew that he was, he had something, and I actually think he does a terrific job as Kai.
Yeah,
Now,
they got ointment for something that he had when you first met him, but he's got something else. That's hard.
Effa Haberman. Effa turned 20, by the way. She had her 20th birthday during the shooting of this show.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, it was a big event. She, I think, was the youngest person on set.
I tell you, there are poised 20-year-olds, and then there are poised 20-year-olds, and she's got,
Poise.
among other things, a lot of poise.
I haven't seen anything like this before on TV, and I think you see the sets, you see the costumes, you see everything. It's very original, I think. Like right now, I'm standing in some kind of an orifice. It's an orifice, and it's the entrance to the big stuff. So I'm inside of an insect's body right now.
But Effa did children's television in Germany quite a bit. She's actually quite an experienced actor, and but she's sort of discovering how to be half flustered.
She was a girl, and now she's a woman.
Well, in Germany, I've hosted a children's show for a year. So that's what I've been doing. I've had some small parts in other TV plays, but this is the first time that I've got a lead part in a series. I was a little bit worried because if you shoot with the same people for a longer period, then often there are problems that occur. But here, I still think that the crew is really fantastic. It's like a big family because everybody is just really enjoying what we're doing. For me as a young actress, I can learn different things from each director. Each director will point out different things to me, and so it's a very good experience for me. I'm on the Lexx, alone with a robot head, 790, who's totally in love with me because he got the injection I was supposed to get. In the transformation, I was supposed to be a love slave, but instead of me getting this injection for falling in love, whoever you see first, he got it. So he saw me first, and so he's totally in love with me, and he does everything I want him to. But of course, he's a little bit sad because I don't love him really. I'm in love with Kai, who has been dead for 2,000 years, and who has been like the chief hitman for his shadow. And he has no wants, no emotions, nothing, but somehow he cares for Stanley Tweedle and me because we're his friends. We are all trying to escape from his shadow and from the evil insect world. And Stanley Tweedle, he's a sweet loser. Just everything he does goes wrong, but he's quite lovable. Weird. So everything in our series is just weird. I mean, already that we're on the Lexx, which is a genetically altered insect, is already weird because this ship has also needs and needs to eat and always does things on its own. So everything's pretty strange about the whole thing.
And then there's Whist.
And there's Whist.
Yes.
Who's played by Dorian Jacobi. And she's, well, as you can tell, you know, that little outfit that she's sort of wearing.
Yeah.
We had a lot of problems working on the set with that because it would distract the crew. Was easily distracted.
Rutger Hauer couldn't focus. It was a mess.
Spooky, hey? It's made of leather and it's very comfortable, as you might have noticed eventually.
I don't actually know whether I'm supposed to tell the story, but someone else was supposed to play the part and she broke her leg. And so here I was. And I had no idea what was going to happen with me. When I went to the audition, which is like months ago, it just sounded like an interesting project because I like science fiction and that was the first science fiction offer I actually got, so I thought I might as well take my chance. And I read the script and the script was fine. It was different. And so it was very interesting for me to work for those people and it's fun. It's fun working here. It's a good actor. He's a famous actor, but I don't see him as Rutger Hauer. I just see him as somebody I have to work with. And of course, it's easy at work with someone you get along with.
A bug. He's a character, and I love him, but I love all my characters. If you, in a traditional sense, this is very much of a fairy tale, and it's very extreme. There's a very wicked and dark sense of humor. I sort of think of my character as a dressed-up Dennis the Menace who pretends to be something else, but it doesn't really matter that much. It comes out all the time, you know, who the real character is. I mean, the unreality of what we do, to me, is the best part. It has nothing to do with life.
Okay, so
790.
790.
The only thing I want to say about that is, you know, Lex got the series named after him, so I grabbed the robot head.
Yes, he grabbed the robot head, and we'll show you. Can you notice the similarity?
Look at these lips.
Yeah.
If you could get a close-up, Greg, on
I think
his
this
lips.
is my interpretation. If you're going for plastic surgery, right, I think like go all the way. Don't cheap out on it because you know this.
Straight on my head there. Mouth is crooked. There it is. All right. Okay, where's the women? They said there were women. Where are they? Where'd they go? Where'd they come back? You're welcome.
Code access denied, Buttercup. All access denied except to the gates of my heart.
Bye.